Look, I had one job. One simple job. Monitor the maintenance schedules, ensure the equipment stayed functional, and absolutely, positively do not die in some horrific industrial accident. That was the extent of my responsibilities as a Level 3 engineering supervisor aboard Station Helix 7. My mother had been so proud when I got this posting. Safe, she said. Boring, she said. Nothing ever happens on a diplomatic research station, she said. My mother, as it turns out, was a liar. The sound still echoes in my head. You know, that sharp metallic crack that should not, could not, absolutely was not supposed to exist in this reality. I have worked with titanium carbide alloys for 15 years. 15 years. I know what they can withstand. I have seen them handle pressure loads that would crush a small spacecraft. I have watched them endure temperatures that would vaporize most organic matter. I have never, not once, seen one snap like a dried twig. But that is exactly what happened 3 hours ago in Maintenance Bay 12, and I am still trying to convince myself that I did not actually witness it, that my 4 eyes somehow malfunctioned simultaneously, that the station's artificial gravity briefly spiked to catastrophic levels, that literally anything else occurred except what I actually saw, which was this. Lieutenant Vera Mawson-Frost, human, female, approximately 1.7 meters tall and maybe 65 kilograms soaking wet, grabbed a stabilization bar with both hands and just broke it. Clean snap, right down the middle, like it was made of candy. I need you to understand something here. These bars, these specific reinforced restraint bars, are rated to hold back a Chromag heavy assault mech during system failures. They are designed to keep 2-ton pieces of equipment from flying across the bay during engine malfunctions. The manufacturer's warranty literally states, and I quote, guaranteed unbreakable under standard operational conditions. Standard operational conditions apparently do not include humans. She was not even trying particularly hard, which somehow makes it worse. I watched her face. All 3 of my focusing membranes locked onto her expression, searching for signs of extreme effort, pain, augmentation activation, anything that would explain what I was seeing. You know what I saw. Mild concentration. The kind of face you make when you are opening a jar that is stuck. A tiny furrow between her eyebrows. A slight press of her lips. And then, crack. The bar gave up on existence before she did. She said, looking down at the 2 pieces of military-grade alloy now dangling uselessly from her hands. Whoops, sorry about that, Krell. Guess it was defective. Defective. She called a piece of engineering that cost more than my annual salary defective, because the alternative, apparently, was admitting that she just broke the unbreakable through sheer casual force. That is not possible. I managed, my translator struggling to process the various sounds of distress my throat was producing. What is not possible? She tilted her head, those disturbingly forward-facing predator eyes blinking at me with what appeared to be genuine confusion. Oh, you mean the bar? Yeah. That is weird. Was it supposed to be load-bearing? I probably should not have pulled on it so hard. So hard. She called that pulling hard. My entire species cannot generate that much force with mechanical assistance, and this creature just described it as pulling hard. I pulled up my datapad with trembling manipulators and accessed her personnel file for the 4th time that day. Species human. Homeworld, Earth. Gravity 1.0 standard, which according to Galactic Council measurements was perfectly average. Physical classification. Baseline organic. No augmentation. No genetic modifications, no cybernetic enhancements. The file listed her strength rating as level 2. Level 2. That is the same classification as a Yixi administrator or a Pelian researcher. Species that need mechanical aids to open their own supply containers. Species that require assistance moving furniture. Species that definitely, absolutely, cannot snap military-grade restraint bars with their bare appendages. I think the problem might be with the installation, she said cheerfully, running her fingers along the wall panel. These bolts feel loose. Want me to tighten? I have got a multi-tool in my belt. No. The word came out louder than I intended. No. That is, I will handle it. Perhaps you should return to your duties. In a different section. Far away from anything structural. She gave me that look humans do when they think you are being weird but are too polite to say it. Okay. Sure. Let me know if you need help with the heavy lifting though. I do not mind. Heavy lifting. From the creature who just committed murder against an inanimate object. My datapad chimed. A message from Station Commander Voss. Report to Conference Room 3 immediately. Bring any documentation regarding human physical capability ratings. This is urgent. I looked down at the two pieces of the former restraint bar, still lying on the deck where Vera Mawson had set them down so carefully, as if she had not just shattered my understanding of material science. If the humans had been understating their capabilities this dramatically, if sweet, helpful Lieutenant Frost who baked cookies for the night shift was capable of this, then what else had we gotten wrong? What else could they do? And why did I suddenly feel like updating my resume and requesting a transfer to literally anywhere else in the galaxy, preferably somewhere without human? Conference room 3 was packed, which should have been my first clue that this situation had escalated beyond a single broken restraint bar. Commander Voss stood at the head of the table, all 8 of his appendages twitching in what I recognized as barely contained agitation. Around the table sat Security Chief Taram, Medical Officer Quinn, Logistics Director Benton, and at least 6 other department heads, all wearing expressions ranging from confusion to outright alarm. "Thank you for coming on such short notice," Voss began, his voice carrying that particular tone of forced calm that leaders use when they are absolutely panicking internally. "We have a situation that requires immediate attention and complete discretion. Krell, please describe what you witnessed in Maintenance Bay 12. So I did. Every detail. The bar, the snap, the casual way Vera Mawson had done it. By the time I finished, half the room was staring at me like I had grown an extra head, and the other half was nodding with disturbing familiarity. "That tracks," Taram said, pulling up his own datapad. "I have been compiling reports for the past 2 weeks. 47 incidents of unexplained equipment stress, 15 cases of damage to items rated above human capability thresholds, and 9 complete system failures that coincided with Lieutenant Frost providing, and I quote, helpful assistance. 47 incidents. My broken bar was not even unique. She moved a cargo container yesterday," Logistics Director Benton added, his antennae drooping. "The XC40 model. Those weigh 400 kilograms empty. I watched her push it across the bay because she said it was blocking the walkway and looked inconvenient. She moved it 6 meters by herself, without equipment. The blast door," someone else chimed in. I turned to see Junior Engineer Plex, who looked like she had not slept in days. Section 7, 2 weeks ago, the hydraulics failed during a drill. That door weighs 800 kilograms. Vera Mawson held it open for 6 minutes while we evacuated the corridor. 6 minutes. I timed it. She said her arms were getting a little tired. A little tired. After holding up 800 kilograms, for 6 minutes. Medical Officer Quinn cleared his throat. I pulled Lieutenant Frost's medical files. Standard baseline human. No augmentation. No genetic modifications. No cybernetic enhancements. Her last physical examination showed completely normal results for her species. Slightly below average muscle mass, actually. Below average, Voss repeated slowly. Below average, Quinn confirmed. According to human medical standards, she is not particularly strong for her species. The file notes that she failed to meet the strength requirements for the combat divisions during her military assessment. They classified her as support personnel specifically because of her, quote, limited physical capabilities. I felt something inside my thorax twist painfully. Limited physical capabilities. The creature who snapped a military-grade restraint bar had been rejected from combat roles for being too weak. "So we have 3 possibilities," Voss said, beginning to pace. 1. Lieutenant Frost is an anomaly, somehow vastly stronger than her species norm despite all medical evidence to the contrary. 2. She has been augmented through means we cannot detect, possibly as part of some covert human military program. 3. And I want you all to really consider this option carefully. The human strength ratings we have been using are catastrophically, dangerously, horrifyingly incorrect. "It cannot be option 3, Taram said, but his voice lacked conviction. "The humans provided those specifications themselves during first contact protocols. They would not misrepresent their own capabilities that dramatically, right?" No one answered, because we were all thinking the same thing. "There are 2 other humans on this station," Voss continued. "Technician James Park and Dr. Lisa Chen. I want reports on any unusual incidents involving either of them. I want medical scans. I want strength assessments using our equipment, not human-provided data, and I need to see the security footage from every single incident involving Lieutenant Frost." He turned to face us fully. "Because if this is not an isolated case, if this is what humans actually are, then we need to reevaluate every safety protocol, every equipment rating, and every job assignment on this station." "She bakes cookies," I heard myself say. She brought me snickerdoodles last week because I mentioned I was stressed about the inspection. That does not change the fact that she can apparently break our infrastructure with her bare hands, Voss replied. Get me that footage. Now. Security Chief Tiram dimmed the conference room lights. This footage spans the last 3 months since Lieutenant Frost arrived on station. I have organized it chronologically. I recommend you all remain seated. The first clip showed the cargo bay from an overhead angle. Vera Mawson walked into frame, walked over to a Type 9 industrial lifter, the kind of equipment specifically designed to move loads that organic beings absolutely cannot handle, and just pushed it aside, like it was a chair. That lifter weighs 900 kilograms, Tiram said quietly. Fully loaded, it can exceed 1,200. She moved it approximately 4 meters in 8 seconds. Tiram zoomed in on the lifter's cargo platform. Stacked components, multiple crates, load indicators clearly visible, fully loaded. Next clip. Section 7 corridor. The blast door incident. We watched Vera Mawson standing casually, both hands pressed against the bottom edge of a massive security door, holding it up. Other crew members scrambled past her, evacuating the section. Her face showed concentration, but nothing like the strain you would expect from someone essentially acting as a biological hydraulic jack. 6 minutes of footage. Vera Mawson barely shifted position. At one point she actually turned her head to chat with someone passing by, smiling while simultaneously preventing 800 kilograms of solid metal from crushing everyone beneath it. She was having a conversation, Quinn whispered. Next clip. Maintenance tunnel. Vera Mawson examining a damaged wall panel. She gripped the edges, pulled, and the entire reinforced cover tore free. Not unsealed, not unbolted, torn. Free. Metal shrieking in protest before giving up entirely. Next clip. Equipment storage. Vera Mawson reorganizing shelving units. Each unit weighed between 200 and 300 kilograms when fully loaded. She moved 6 of them, by herself, in 30 minutes. Next clip. This one made my respiratory system seize. Emergency airlock. 57 days ago. The door had jammed during a docking procedure, with crew members trapped on the other side rapidly running out of breathable atmosphere. Maintenance teams were rushing toward the location with cutting equipment, but they were 7 minutes away. Vera Mawson was there in 90 seconds. We watched her assess the situation, check the door controls, confirm they were non-functional, and then, without hesitation, without calling for backup, without using any tools whatsoever, she gripped the airlock's emergency release handle and pulled. The handle was not designed to move. It was designed to be opened with a plasma torch during catastrophic system failures. It was solid durasteel, welded into the locking mechanism. Vera Mawson pulled, her face going slightly red, her muscles visibly straining for the first time in any of the footage, and the handle moved, then the locking mechanism moved, then the entire airlock door ground open, metal screaming against metal, and 4 crew members stumbled out gasping. Vera Mawson stood there breathing heavily, examined the bent handle in her grip, and said, guess I do not know my own strength sometimes. Sometimes. She did not know her own strength sometimes. How? Voss said, his voice strangled. How did they classify her as level 2? How did humans submit documentation to the Galactic Council stating that their species has average physical capabilities? I pulled the human species application, Quinn said. Submit during first contact 42 years ago. Physical capability assessment moderate. Strength classification comparable to Yuxi and Pelion baseline. Threat level minimal to none. Threat level minimal, Tiram repeated. We just watched her rip open a jammed airlock with her bare hands. If she is weak for a human and she can do this, then what can an actual strong human do? I asked. The silence that followed that question was profound. We all stared at the screen, frozen on an image of Vera Mawson wiping her hands on her uniform after bending solid durasteel, smiling at the rescued crew members. She looked so harmless, so friendly, so utterly, completely, catastrophically capable of destroying everything around her apparently by accident. The humans had sent us their documentation. They had told us what they were capable of. They had filled out every form, submitted every specification, provided every data point required by council protocols, and somehow, some way, they had gotten everything catastrophically, terrifyingly, impossibly wrong. Or they had gotten everything exactly right and we were the ones who had misunderstood what average actually meant for a species that evolved on a death world. Vera Mawson sat in the chair across from Commander Voss, looking perfectly comfortable and monumentally confused. Am I in trouble? She asked, glancing around at the assembled department heads who had strategically positioned themselves near the exits. You are not in trouble, Lieutenant Voss said. We simply need to clarify some information regarding your physical capabilities. Vera Mawson blinked. My what now? Your strength, Quinn interjected. Specifically, we need to understand how you are able to perform feats that should be, according to all available data, completely impossible for your species classification. Tarim activated the display screen. The cargo bay footage played. Vera Mawson watched herself push a 1,200-kilogram lifter across the floor. All that, she said, relaxing. Yeah, it was blocking the loading zone. I just moved it real quick before the supply ship docked. That equipment weighs over a ton, Benton said carefully. 1,200 kilograms. You moved it by yourself. Vera Mawson nodded slowly. Right, okay, but it was on wheels? Like I was not lifting it, just pushing. The wheels made it pretty easy. The wheels are designed for motorized guidance systems, Benton continued. They have resistance brakes. They require mechanical override to move at all. Huh. Vera Mawson studied the footage again. Well, I mean, it did move, so I guess the brakes were not engaged. You might want to have maintenance check that. Voss made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a wheeze. The blast door incident. The footage played. Vera Mawson holding up 800 kilograms of security door for 6 minutes. Oh yeah, that was scary, Vera Mawson said. I was really worried we would not get everyone out in time. My arms were getting super tired by the end there. I was afraid I might drop it. Super tired, Quinn repeated faintly. Yeah, like I definitely felt that the next day. Sore shoulders and everything. Lieutenant Frost, Voss said. Do you work out weight training, strength augmentation programs? Vera Mawson actually laughed. Me? No way. I mean, I try to hit the station gym maybe once a week if I remember. But honestly, I am pretty lazy about exercise. I am not really the fitness type, you know. My friend back on Earth, Rachel, she is super into powerlifting, goes to competitions and everything. Now she is strong. I am just like regular. Regular. She said regular. Your friend Rachel, I heard myself say. The one who does powerlifting. How much can she lift? Oh, at her last competition she deadlifted 270 kilograms, I think. She was pretty happy about it. Working her way up to the 300 club. Vera Mawson smiled proudly. She has been training for years though. Real dedicated. The room went silent. And you consider yourself not very strong, Voss said slowly, compared to her. Well, yeah. Rachel is a competitive athlete. I am just, me. I actually failed the physical strength requirements for combat roles when I enlisted. They told me I should stick to support positions because my upper body strength was below standards. She shrugged. It is fine though. I like working maintenance and logistics. Below standards, Quinn whispered. By quite a bit, actually, Vera Mawson confirmed cheerfully. It was kind of embarrassing. But hey, not everyone can be a frontline soldier, right? Voss slowly turned to look at the rest of us. If Vera Mawson, sweet, helpful, below-average Vera Mawson who failed combat assessments could casually demolish our infrastructure, then what exactly could a human soldier do? Lieutenant Frost, Voss said carefully. How many humans would you say are stronger than you, percentage-wise? Vera Mawson thought about it. I mean, I am a woman, so most human men are going to be stronger on average, maybe like 60% of the total population, plus or minus. And then there are the folks who actually work out seriously, do manual labor, military special forces, athlete. Yeah, I would say I am probably in the bottom 40% easily, maybe bottom third. Bottom third. She was in the bottom third of human strength distribution. And she could bend Darasteel. Thank you, Lieutenant Voss managed. That will be all. You are dismissed. Vera Mawson stood, still looking confused. She got halfway to the door before turning back. Oh hey. I noticed those new cargo containers arrived this morning. The really big ones. Do you guys need help moving them into storage? They looked pretty heavy, and I have got some free time this afternoon. Every single being in that room took a simultaneous step backward. That will not be necessary, Voss said quickly. We have specialized equipment for that. You sure? I really do not mind helping. Completely sure. Thank you, Lieutenant. What am I looking at? Voss asked. A nightmare, Quinn replied flatly. Or according to human medical standards, a completely normal, slightly below average female specimen. He zoomed in on the muscular system. Human muscle tissue has roughly twice the density of Pelion baseline, which is what we have been using as the comparison standard. Their fast-twitch muscle fibers can generate peak force loads that exceed our engineering safety margins. The image shifted to show bones, thick, dense bones that looked less like biological structures and more like composite support beams. Their bone density is absurd, Quinn continued. Designed to handle impacts, stress loads and forces that would shatter most species' skeletons. They have a healing factor built into the bones themselves. If they break one, which apparently happens during their recreational activities, it grows back stronger than before. Stronger. They have bones that learn from damage. Recreational activities, I repeated weakly. Sports, they call it. Quinn pulled up another image. But here is where it gets truly disturbing. Redundant systems. Humans have 2 of almost everything vital. 2 lungs, 2 kidneys. Even their brain has 2 hemispheres that can partially compensate for each other if one is damaged. They are built with backup organs as standard equipment. Why would evolution produce that level of redundancy? Taram asked. Because their planet tried very, very hard to kill them, Quinn said, pulling up a new file. Earth. Gravity 1.0 standard, which we classified as average, but I went back and checked the actual measurements. Their standard is our standard because they were the comparison baseline during first contact. Every other species operates at 0.7 to 0.9 Earth gravity. Humans evolved in conditions we would consider high-gravity training environments. The display shifted to show Earth itself. Atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, which supports high metabolic activity. Weather patterns include violent electrical storms, rotating air columns capable of destroying structures, frozen precipitation and temperature swings of 40 degrees in a single day, seismic activity, volcanic activity, and every surface predator evolved right alongside them in an arms race that lasted millions of years. Persistence hunting, Benton said suddenly. I found references to it in the Human Cultural Database. They did not chase prey by being faster, they chased it until it collapsed from exhaustion. They can run for hours, days, some of them. They just keep coming until everything else dies from fatigue. The room went very quiet. So let me make sure I understand this, Voss said slowly. Humans evolved on a high-gravity death world, developed redundant biological systems to survive it, and their primary hunting strategy was to simply outlast everything else through sheer endurance. And Vera Mawson, who we just established is below average for her species, can bend durasteel and hold up blast doors. So what can an actual human soldier do? Quinn pulled up a file. According to human military records, their special forces operatives can carry over 60 kilograms of equipment, march for 20 kilometers, engage in combat operations and then do it again the next day. For weeks, their heavy infantry soldiers wear powered armor. But the interesting thing is they do not need it for strength augmentation. They need it because their own bodies can handle loads that would crush the servo systems in our combat mechs, and the armor is actually limiting them for safety reasons. Safety reasons, Taram echoed. They have to limit their own soldiers to prevent them from destroying their equipment. Human standard-issue rifles have recoil compensators that would hospitalize most Galactic Council species, Quinn continued. Humans consider it mild discomfort. Their close combat training includes techniques that assume the soldier can break bones, rupture organs and disable opponents with bare hands, not as a last resort, as standard procedure. Voss made a gesture of negation with several appendages at once, and we classified them as level 2. Minimal threat. Quinn closed his files. The real answer to your question, Commander, is this. We did not misclassify humans. They classified themselves, honestly and accurately according to their own standards. The problem is their standards were developed on a planet that makes our high-gravity training facilities look like recreational spas. What they consider average, we consider impossible. What they consider weak, we consider superhuman. And what they consider strong. He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. The new safety protocols arrived on my datapad at 0600 hours. Emergency revision, human physical capability reclassification and equipment safety standards update. Every piece of equipment on Station Helix 7 now carried a secondary rating labeled bright orange and impossible to miss. Human accessible or human restricted. The restricted category included 93% of our structural components, all security doors, most cargo handling systems, and anything described as reinforced, unbreakable or load-bearing. The official memo contained the following phrase: human strength classifications have been recalculated. Previous level 2 rating rescinded. New classification: catastrophically underestimated. Exercise extreme caution when assigning physical tasks to human personnel. Catastrophically underestimated. Someone had actually typed those words into an official Galactic Council document. Within 48 hours, Vera Mawson Frost had become a station legend. The story had grown in the telling. Some versions had her lifting cargo ships. Others claimed she had torn a hole through a bulkhead with her bare hands. Vera Mawson herself remained completely, blissfully oblivious to the panic she had caused. She still showed up for her shifts on time, still brought cookies to the night crew, still volunteered to help with anything that needed doing. The difference was that now, every single time she volunteered, whoever she was talking to suddenly remembered an urgent appointment somewhere else. I was updating equipment labels in Storage Bay 5 when I heard her voice behind me. "Hey Krail, how's the recalibration going?" I did not jump. My species simply has very reactive nervous systems. The fact that I cleared 30 centimeters of vertical distance was purely physiological. "Lieutenant Frost," I managed. "It is going well. Almost finished here." "Cool, cool." She rocked back on her heels. "So, I saw those new cargo containers arrived. The big ones from the supply run. I was thinking, if you guys need help getting them into storage, I have got some free time after my shift and I really do not mind."
"No."
The word came from at least 7 different crew members simultaneously. I turned to see that Storage Bay 5 had suddenly become very crowded, every single being present having taken 3 synchronized steps backward the moment Vera Mawson finished her sentence. We looked like a choreographed dance troupe, a very terrified choreographed dance troupe. Vera Mawson's face fell.
"Oh, okay."
"I just thought, they looked heavy, and I could save you guys some time. We have specialized machinery," Voss said, appearing in the doorway. "Very specific protocols, very new protocols, very strict protocols that absolutely require mechanical assistance only. No organic personnel, especially no human personnel. Especially no assistance needed because we have machines, which are sufficient." He was babbling. Commander Voss was actually babbling. Vera Mawson looked between us, clearly trying to understand why everyone was acting so weird. "All right then," she said slowly. "Well, if you change your minds, just let me know. I will be in my quarters doing some reading." Quietly, without touching anything structural, she left, and the collective sigh of relief probably altered the bay's atmospheric pressure. "She knows," Taram said quietly. "She definitely knows something is up." "Good," Voss replied. "Maybe she will stop trying to help." She would not stop trying to help. I looked down at my datapad, at the updated safety protocols, at the orange warning labels I needed to apply to approximately 3,000 pieces of equipment, and I opened my personal files to the document I had been updating over the past week. Resume. Current, polished and ready to transmit to any station, outpost or deep space facility that had one critical qualification: no humans. My mother had said this posting was safe. Boring. Nothing ever happens on a diplomatic research station. Well, Mother, I have news for you. I have spent the last week learning that humans are barely contained natural disasters who classify themselves as friendly and helpful while accidentally breaking everything they touch. I have watched footage of a woman who considers herself weak, casually violating multiple laws of physics. I have sat through meetings where we calculated what would happen if we ever upset an actual strong human, and I did not like the answers. Safe. She called this safe. I am updating my resume, requesting a transfer and possibly filing a formal complaint with the Galactic Council about their equipment testing standards. Because if a below-average human can break door steel, then clearly someone miscalibrated something fundamental about the universe. Or the universe calibrated itself just fine. Humans are simply operating on entirely different specifications than the rest of us, and we are only now realizing just how different those specifications actually are. Either way, I am leaving, preferably before Vera Mawson decides to help with anything else.